Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Milk and this is Milk Astrology, and today we're going to be doing your April 2023 tarot predictions for your zodiac sign. I would prefer you apply your moon sign, but I do think that rising or sun can also be good, or Venus or Mars if you want to, but usually people like their rising, sun, or moon the most. So apply whichever you think is best. Okay, so I already have the cards pulled, and I've been using major arcana lately, like instead of involving minor. And the reason why that is because like general or shorter readings, like not intensive, in-depth live readings, I feel like it gets to the grit of the point easier when you just focus on the major arcana. I feel like the minor arcana give like a lot of the nuance and the details, but the major arcana just gets to like what's actually going on, like the major picture, whereas like the minor arcana, in my opinion, is just like the elements behind the story. Both are equally important. I just have ADD and I've just been really liking using major arcana, so this is a major arcana card reading only. And yeah, so I'm gonna start with the cardinal signs first, because April not only is a very big month for cardinal signs specifically, but also with an emphasis on Aries and Libra placements. There's going to be eclipse season, spring eclipse season in signs of Aries. The solar eclipse is in Aries, and then there's a full moon in Libra at the beginning of April. So yeah, there's a lot of grit around transits impacting cardinal signs specifically. So with that being said, eclipse is going to be in Aries in April, but then the lunar eclipse is in Scorpio in May. So in April there's just a cardinal focus. People with cardinal signs specifically on their angles, like their midheaven, their coli, their descendant, their ascendant, are going to be the most impacted. Specifically Aries and Libra risings are the most impacted, or people with inner planets by degrees around. However, again, my personal opinion is Aries and Libra risings are the main characters, specifically those specific placements. For my cardinal signs, I have the Fool, the Wheel of Fortune reversed. I also have Death and the Emperor reversed. I also have the Hanged Man, the Star, the Empress, and the Sun. So to be quite frank, I know that the astrology for cardinal signs specifically in April is about a lot of new growth and regeneration, but with that comes a lot of change and a lot of endings as well. So I do feel like the first half of the month is you not only identifying what's not working for you, but I also feel like there's certain endings around relationship connections or just people in your life that I don't think are aligned with you in a way that is beneficial for you anymore. Ultimately, with the Emperor reverse, I feel like there's a very dogmatic person, a very strong presence in your life, and I feel like they are very nitpicky or bossy or just analytical of how you live your life, how you do things in general. And I think that the first half of April, I feel like you're realizing or identifying that you've kind of been held back in a way, and not necessarily because of your doing or your decisions, but I feel like because of other people's influence and opinions. I think you have taken a lot of like the role of being a people pleaser or the role of catering to people for so long that I feel like this is just a month where everything just feels like very eminently, like a lot more heightened. So like if you feel stagnant, you feel incredibly stagnant. If you feel busy, you feel exhausted by how busy you are. Like everything is just so much more heightened that I think that you're also identifying like certain people in your life have been kind of not as supportive for you as you have been for them. Like it could be you sharing something that you're excited about, or some great news that is happening in your life to someone, and they could just be very not reciprocating, very anticlimactic, very just like passe about it all. And I feel like you're starting to kind of realize you've put a lot of emphasis around people's opinions of you or how you do things, who don't seem to cheer that loud for you when really good things are happening. It seems like their criticism is louder, and I feel like you've gotten into that habit of just like emphasizing on what they think you should or shouldn't do versus your own voice and like your own feelings. And so I do feel like the beginning of the month is you feeling limited. I have, you know, the Hangman reversed, the Wheel of Fortune reversed, the Emperor reversed. I feel, well, no, excuse me, the Hangman is not reversed, it's upright. So I feel like you're kind of looking around and you're like identifying that you're stuck, that you're not moving forward. You feel like there's not a lot of growth happening, and instead of kind of maintaining that stuckness or just staying in the emotions of being in the stagnant space, like usually sometimes when we notice that we're stuck or that we've been kind of stagnant, sometimes we can feel really discouraged, and just like instead of having that motivate us to move forward, I feel like we can be like, okay, I'm just gonna stay in bed because why bother? But because specifically cardinal signs are very motivational naturally and very like can never stay in one progression of their life too long, like they have to constantly elevate themselves, I feel like for you this is like the reality check or the kick in the butt where you're like, you know what, why am I so stagnant? What has been keeping me in this rut? And then more specifically, you're really looking at relationships and people around you. Like there's an emphasis of you kind of needing to move away from certain connections, move away from certain people. And I don't want to lie to you, I don't want to sugarcoat it with the death card. Like it might not be the most easy thing. Like having to assert your boundaries, having to be clear about what's not working for you, having to let people know in your life that like certain things about your relationships with them have not been that great. Like it could feel a little rocky as you're going through this transition period, because not only are you realizing that things are not working, but people around you are going to start being like, oh wow, like they're I had no idea. Like they could be genuinely dumbfounded and not understand where it's coming from, and so there could be some pushback. But I feel like Spirit is saying you need to keep pushing forward, like you need to keep moving ahead. If you let other people's opinions and feelings overpower your own all the time, you're never going to get anywhere, because sometimes we tend to shrink ourselves to make other people feel cozy or comfy, and ultimately like other people are not living your life, so you can't always do that. And then I do have the Star, the Fool, the Sun, and the Empress upright, and so this is really positive. Like if anything, despite the fact that some of this month could sound very dramatic, or there could be endings in certain relationship dynamics, you could be moving away from certain friends, I feel like ultimately you're also knowing what you want in the future. You're making plans for yourself. You're not letting people limit you anymore. Maybe you've had some very insecure friends, so you've like watered your own interests down, but I feel like towards the middle of the month you transition into like, you know what, I'm just gonna go reach for my goals. Like I'm just gonna go worry about myself, because I've been so worried about everyone else, and what has it gotten me? Like how has it benefited me? And this is not to say like that you need to be selfish. I think if anything, it's just that you've been pouring so much energy into everyone around you that now it's time to like kind of pull back a little. It's just that you've been neglecting your own needs for a very long time. There's a difference between being selfish and not being considerate of other people versus like never considering yourself. So it's not selfish. But the Sun card too, and the Star, or excuse me, the Star and the Sun make me feel like you're about to get some incredible news around a hobby or project or a goal that you have. It's going to be like some kind of incentive that encourages you to continue to go after your dreams, continue to get what you want. I think that for a while you didn't feel like you could have what you wanted. Added encouragement of like, hey, you actually are really talented and gifted in this area. Hey, like things could actually really benefit you, and if you kept putting your energy in this area. I feel like for a while it's like you lost sight of your own interests, because I feel like you didn't believe in yourself, and I feel like a very random thing will happen in April where it's so, it could be so small, but it's just a random reminder that you are good at things that you care about and you should keep moving forward. So I feel like it's almost like, say you gave up on a dream to be a content creator or an artist, and then someone randomly sees like your art, maybe you're wearing it or something, and they see it and they like stop and they are like begging to buy it off of you. Like it's very random, but there's something that's so, it could be like such a tiny gesture, but it really just catapults you into like going after your dreams again. It's almost like you were kind of sleeping like for a while, and then you woke up and you're like, hey, actually I am going to keep going after these things that I want. I am going to do the things that I told myself I was going to do when I was a little kid. Like those are, I feel like you just reconnect with like a softer part of yourself, and then it gives you ambition to go forward. So I feel like that's incredibly positive for you, and I feel like even if there is some inevitable change or loss throughout April, there's a lot of rebirth, there's a lot of growth, and I feel like even if it sounds rocky at times, it's going to get better, or you're going to feel a lot more illuminated later on. So that was a very long reading, But if you liked it, all of my social media links are down below, and I will see you next month in next month's tarot reading, because I've not been doing more than one tarot video a month. So Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, this reading is for you. So first I have Temperance, I have the Chariot reversed, I have Judgment, I have the World, I have Strength reversed, I have Justice, I have the Magician, and I have the Devil reversed. So immediately the first thing that I think about with this spread is that this is going to be a tough love reading. I have a feeling, I have an inclination. You have a lot of goals and ambitions and dreams for yourself, but you keep like self-sabotaging your own dreams or your own goals. And I think it's because you have this survival instinct where you maybe had to grow up very quickly, or you had to constantly fend for yourself. And because of this, I feel like you can never trust when things are too good. I feel like you have this fear that whenever things are too good or too easy, it's like they're getting ripped away from you. And I feel like because you're so used to disappointment that it's safe almost. It's like comfortable. The idea of having to be vulnerable and be hopeful and get excited about something feels scary. It could even feel, some people, it could genuinely feel triggering. Like this is a genuine feeling for you. And so with that being said, with the Magician and the World, I feel like Spirit is saying, and Temperance, I feel like Spirit is saying like, your prayers are really strong, your manifestations are really strong, like the things that you see for yourself, the skills and talents that you have for yourself are very like positive, and you're very ambitious, or you're more likely to achieve the things that you set your mind to. But the issue is, I say this, if you don't see that, it's not going to happen. So like other people could give you all the encouragement, talk your ear off, like tell you how great you are, and if you don't see those things, if you don't believe in those things, it literally is a fruitless thing. Like it's not gonna work out. So it's like if you don't see it, if you don't believe in it, it's not going to work out for you in the way that you would hope for it to. I think that another thing that I feel is popping up, Strength reversed, I have the Devil reversed. With that being said, you have Judgment, Strength reversed, Justice, and the Devil reversed. So I feel like you're kind of in the habit of very unhealthy coping mechanism when you're stressed. You're doing something lately that has not been for your benefit. In fact, it's been like keeping you from a lot of your talents and skills and like goals that you have. Like some kind of coping mechanism when you're fatigued or when you're burnt out. It's almost like you're not relying on those healthy things to keep you grounded. And this could just be bad company. It could be, I don't know, not making healthy choices. It could also just be like spending more of your money than you need to. I feel like there's just an unhealthy coping mechanism when you're stressed, but you keep resorting to it and it's not really helping you in any way, and you know this, but you just keep doing it. And I think you've also identified that you need to change things, like you want to release these habits, you want to move in a new direction, but I feel like you just don't trust yourself. Like I don't feel like you trust that you're capable of having things that you want, or being good at what you want, or being strong-minded enough to not keep going back to these unhealthy coping mechanisms or bad habits that you want to release, you want to move away from. And I kind of wonder if like this is because of the company that you're keeping or your environment. I feel like you're just in a situation where you're so hard on yourself, and I don't know if it's because other people are making you feel like this, or I don't know. I just think that you're in this situation lately where it's just very funky. And the sad thing is there's a lot of really great things that could be happening for you. Like people at your job recognize you're really great at your job. People around you recognize that you're a very attractive and appealing person. If you're single, people maybe want to pursue you. Like you're not someone that is not a catch. Like you are a catch. But I just think that if you don't see it, and you keep these like self-sabotaging methods up, you're going to just move yourself further and further away from the things that you want for yourself. So I feel like this month in some ways could be like a pivotal moment where you like identify, hey, maybe I should not do that, or maybe I should be a little kinder to myself, or maybe I should eat my groceries today instead of Postmate 3 times a day like a crazy person. I feel like those are all things that might feel very small but could actually really help you down a path that you want to go down. But also maybe this is just a really great month for you to pursue or consider like therapy or some kind of healthy coping mechanism, like exercise, implementing a few more veggies into your diet, like just things that feel healing and peaceful for you, because I feel like you're just being too hard on yourself. Like you could just be like raising your cortisol, like stressing yourself out, not being kind at all to yourself. And I feel like this month is like you need to slow down and you need to redirect your energy in a healthier way for your benefit, because the things that you're doing or focusing on lately have just not been helpful to you. And I think you know this. I just think maybe you need to hear it like out loud. So that seems to be the tough love. On a positive note though, I will say none of these cards look like depressing, devastating, intense. Like I'm not getting death and the tower card on you. So like I'm not saying that, you know, the whole sky is about to fall on you. I don't think anything like that. I just think this is a month where you've been in a self-deprecating rut and you need to snap out of it, because you have a lot more support and you have a lot more positive things on your side. But if you continue to like refuse to see it, there's nothing that anyone can do. Like it's just one of those situations. Also, perhaps you just have a lot on your plate. Maybe you're just really stressed out. And if that's the case, you know, this is a great month to consider letting your employers know you can't always do your coworkers' job for them, letting your family know you can't always take care of every single person, you know, especially when everyone's an adult. Like you have to constantly like let people be able to be held accountable for themselves the way that you should hold yourself accountable, because it's not feasible for you to be everywhere at once. But hopefully this is helpful. If you liked it, all of my social media links are down below. I hope that this reading wasn't like just depressing though. Like I know that this could sound intense, but I feel like this also has the opportunity for you to have a lot of really great things happen. I think it's just about prioritizing self-care and mental health more this month, and like being able to rest and then see things in a new light. So I feel like that's just mainly the focus. Fixed signs have like the least amount of cards, and I'm wondering if that's because April is just a very uneventful month for you. But honestly, fixed signs, that's a good thing, because like this summer you're gonna have a funky summer with Venus retrograde in Leo. If you're a fixed rising person specifically, like it's affecting all your angles. So that's an intense summer. Plus you still have fixed eclipse season. You have May, the lunar eclipse, and then I believe in October you have a solar eclipse. Wait, hold on, I got pulled. Okay, October 28th you have another lunar eclipse. So you have 2 lunar eclipses this year in fixed signs. Lunar eclipses are also arguably more intense than solar eclipses, so it's a year for you. So basically the fact that you're not the main character this month, or that this tarot spread might not be the most eventful, I would not think that that's a bad thing. I would think that's a very good thing. Sometimes you need a break, okay? And so the first thing we have is the Lovers reversed, the Hierophant. I'm listening to my dogs go ape about something outside. The Hierophant, the Hermit, the Moon, the Tower reversed, the High Priestess. Okay, so I feel like this month is not a good month for you to focus too much on other people. If anything, other people just are not doing it for you anymore. Maybe you're just irritated, you haven't had a moment to yourself lately, maybe you need a moment to yourself. I think this is just a period of time where you really need to kind of take a moment, whether it's like a staycation at a nice little hotel by yourself, going for a little spa day. I don't know, you need like a little you time. However, with that being said, I feel like this month is like the month before you take the actions that you know you need to take about certain things. Like this month is a cozy, peaceful, prioritize you, do things for you month before you know you have to maybe, I don't know, I'm not gonna say like break up with someone, but like before you have to have conversations with people. I feel like you're in this like trial and error period where you're trying to be patient with people and you're trying to be understanding, but you have a limit and you could see yourself reaching it. But this is a month where you're just kind of pulling back and you're like, okay, you know, you're identifying that you can't keep letting people ruin your own peace. So I feel like because of that, you're just kind of pulling back and you're like, okay, like you're just kind of watching and observing. Like this is a month where you're not really going to act upon an initial disappointment quickly or hastily, but you're gonna keep note of it. And if it keeps happening, it will lead you to make a decision. Why are my cards falling? And I also don't want to downplay the fact that just because you are being calm and collected that you're not feeling emotionally charged. However, I feel like it's going to benefit you more this month the moon and the Hierophant to pour your energy and your like restless energy or emotions into learning a new skill set, learning a new hobby. This could even mean like chilling at home, reading your books, like really tackling your reading goal this year, or playing video games, like doing something that just feels enlightening for you, whatever that is. It could be watching Netflix documentaries, I don't care. Whatever just makes you feel enriched with your senses, all 5 senses, like it helps you feel good. With the Hermit, I don't feel like you're very social this month. April is not a month where I feel like you're trying to go out and achieve a lot, in the sense of like being a social butterfly. I feel like April is more of a month where maybe you're making plans for vacations in the future. Maybe April is a month where you are resting more. Maybe you were really overworked and now you're just kind of taking a moment to pause. Maybe again, this is a staycation month, but I don't really see this as like a big social month for you. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I do feel like with the Lovers reversed and the Tower reversed and the High Priestess upright, I feel like there's an emphasis around you might have had a very social March, and I feel like it kind of burned you out. I think that like certain interactions with people recently have left you feeling very like dumbfounded, and I think that like you've been analyzing certain interactions a lot more than maybe you would like to. Like I feel like something happened and now you're just like, what did she mean by that? Like why did she do it that way? Like why did she say that? I feel like you're just kind of mystified. And so I think while you move through these feelings and while you're essentially processing a lot right now, this is a great month to just be cozy, to prioritize you, to put yourself first, to maybe limit social interactions, take time to yourself. I'm not saying go into hiding and ignore everyone completely, but take some time to yourself. Because sometimes we do need to process our feelings and our emotions and how other people are making us feel before we can really choose our words or what we want to say or what we want to do about it. So this is a really good month for just reflection, enriching your own senses, traveling, being experimental, trying new things. With the Hierophant card, I think the more that you try new things and step out of your comfort zone this month, I think the more you're going to be thankful for it. Even if it's something silly like trying a new coffee shop, trying a new restaurant. You don't have to go backpack through Europe by yourself. But that is like basically the gist of the vibe, I guess, for this month. And yeah, I feel like it could be a very peaceful month. I do think that you have some heavier realizations that you're kind of coming to, but it's like a very gradual process. And I think the whole point of April is you identify that things aren't always going to stay this way. There are some things that need to happen soon in the near future. You see them up ahead, that things are like, this is like not the calm before the storm, I don't want to say that, but it's almost like you see that there's going to be a change soon, but this is like one of the final months before a change has to happen. So you're just being cozy about it. You're just like resting, you're recharging. May is going to be a very eventful month for you guys, especially October too. So I feel like you're just kind of recharging before you have to go back out there and before things get more intense or more focused on you again. And that's okay. And I feel like if anything, you just get a lot of peace and rest out of this month, and I think that is probably the best. Like, you guys, in my opinion, had the best, most positive reading. I would say you guys will have a very peaceful April. Maybe not entirely, because I don't know the rest of your chart. I don't know if you guys have a lot of cardinal placements watching this, then maybe read the cardinal reading too. But if you like this reading, all my social media links are down below, and I will see you in next month's video if you only are around for tarot. I do post book reviews though, and lately work vlogs, so if you ever want to watch my other videos, you know, feel free.